Real African stories and real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series. And in this episode, Bright takes us from creating his first computer virus when he was 7 years old to becoming one of the leading cybersecurity voices in Africa.
I mean, growing up young, I never thought I'd be in computers. But when I was 6, 7 thereabout, I was so much into getting to know how technical things work. I got to a school to learn how to use computers. It was an 8 to 12 weeks course. It's usually 8, but I can do for 12. I finished in 6 hours when I got there. The first day I got there, because the first 2 hours I was like, this is boring. It's really boring for me. So it was easy for me, and I wrote all the exams immediately and I passed. So that was the first and last time I think I've ever stepped into a computer class for certification. So I created my first computer virus when I was 7, 6 turning 7. I was pissed off. My teacher really got on my nerves because she gives assignments and then she expects you to do it in a short time, and everybody hasn't really grasped things. It was back then, computers were new, I created a second virus when I was 14, when I was in St. Mary's. The reason was because we only had one computer which you can go to, which if you don't get there to the library, which had the only internet, you can't get access to the internet. So I created something which would show about 98% of matrix, the picture, on the screen. And it's only 3 combination of keys that only I knew. If you don't have that, you can't log in. So it was, my life around computers got quite interesting, and later, of course, got into trouble with law enforcement. I wasn't hacking. I just happened to be part of a chat room that they thought I was part of Anonymous, the hacker group at the time. So they kept questioning me, and it was quite interesting. At that time, trust me, I almost peed on myself. But later when they finished, I'm like, I can come say it like right now. I can come tell this story, and it's so much fun to me. And I continued that life of computers to undergrad, to my master's, my PhD, all in cybersecurity, now to help people. In fact, so let me take you back to a time when my hacking skills were showing. Same thing, I was in St. Mary's. I was looking through the networks to see what can I find interesting. I ended up landing in the headmaster's computer. Guess what? It had all the exams. So technically I had exams a week before the exams itself. But Bright being Bright, I was nice. I went to report myself. And I was like, why did I do that anyway? So there was a very close watch on Bright and the computer. I had only one computer to use when I went to IB. They could not let me use any other. And it was that kind of lifestyle kept on growing. And I wanted to be a programmer, by the way. It just didn't work out for me. So I can read code, but I don't write code that much, which is a big difference. Then now in Daystar is where things went crazier. So Daystar, we had a school block, 3 floors. I did a whole networking of the entire building that we can have internet from one source. And that was a nice project. And I started monitoring the entire school's network, getting internet all the way off campus. But the problem was where this another hacking I did with a friend of mine, which we hacked one of the telecommunication companies. And they had a modem. Those modems back in the day, if you don't have that, you don't have internet. It was the coolest thing. So I used that to sell internet to people off campus. I had to make money. I'm a hustler, by the way. People think you have no idea. I'm going to take you through my future part of things. I'm a hustler and a half. So I basically started showing people, I should say, you can get internet for a certain period of time and you don't pay for it. Because that bundle, if you buy a bundle for 100 shillings, we can use it for a whole week with more than 50 people using it at the same time. It doesn't go higher. And it just became a lifestyle. So I left Kenya, went to South Korea to do my master's. Weird enough, I was supposed to do only 24 credits. I ended up doing 42. Why? Because the Korean culture is different. The way they study, the way they are aggressive towards learning something new was just different. And I became a straight A student because I was just going for every class, anything that I want to learn, artificial intelligence, geographical, geomaps, coding in weird languages. We even did things like Li-Fi. Li-Fi, if you don't know, Li-Fi is using light as internet. So we use light rays to actually bounce off internet connection instead of Wi-Fi, which is in the air. So you can use light to open doors. We knew about 4G way before it even started coming out as a thing. Koto tested in Busan, vehicular security, like basically using solar panels to see. It was just really interesting things that we're doing in South Korea. And cybersecurity was a core part of me. Korea was the most interesting place I've ever been. We had a lot of discrimination as a black man whilst I was in Korea. And also, I'm not a language person, so I could not really learn how to speak. But there's some people who can really speak Korean, they learn so much. But it brought out a different personality. Some of the things that I've done, you will never believe it. I tell you, I was an MC in a club. I was literally hyping people in a club. I organized dance battles. I used to work in a cafe. I did the most odd things. Yeah? I used to teach English to kids, but illegally, because if you're from Africa, you cannot teach unless you have a South African passport. Yeah, that's how it is in Korea. And I was like, but how am I going to make more money? So when you go to teach, you have to make sure you hide that cops don't see you. Because when they get you, if they catch you, it's $10,000 fine, and they get deported as well for a few years. So it was always a risky thing teaching kids English, but it was fun. I did babysitting to kids. We don't understand each other, but hey, if I say jump, you can understand jump, we are fine. And my little Korean words that I learned. But the weirdest job I ever did, two of them, was working in the LG factory. I was making TV stands for LG and microwave knobs. It was a whole night. I did it for one night and I said, nah, fam, I quit. This is too much. By the fourth hour, you think you'd have worked. We worked for the whole night. Then I went to work in a rubber factory. And by rubber, I mean I was making dildos. Yes, I was feeling dildos. I did that for 2 nights and I said I'm done. So feeling dildos was a particular type. There are different sections. There are people in the electronic part of dildo making, and I was in the rubber section. So what I did was I was filling with some sort of jelly. One leg presses to come, and the other one presses to fill, and then you let it go. The weird thing, you have to shake it. Oh my God. But when I leave that place, the pheromones in the entire building sticks on your body. So you're in the train and people are rubbing themselves against you, they're touching you. Everybody's attracted to you and you're like, why? Not knowing it's the pheromones from the lab. It's a huge factory. Trust me, it's a business. That was the weirdest thing. And there was a club that every Korean club usually have a pole. So I went for pole dancing lessons, which I never showed anybody. But I was dancing on poles. I had to do something because you do that, you're fun. I used to sing all the songs and try to rap, whatever it is. And when I finished that, people just gave me alcohol. That was my escape. But the weird thing also, when I'm doing all those, I'm writing papers. Yeah, I do write. I get inspiration from things that I hear from people. I have interacted with people that changed my life. I do one of my whole bartending kind of thing. I was a bartender at one of the club. I was small bars, part-time. I met this guy who is a German guy. He said, we just chit-chat, and I bought him a Long Island for free. Just to give him like, oh, thank you for the nice gesture. When he was leaving, dude bought a bottle of Remy Martin, Johnny Walker Black, because my friends were coming. He bought bottles for me. So I'm like, why did you do that? I'm curious. So he's like, come to my island where he stays. He stays on an island called Goje. And Goje is an island, but there's a road network to it. So I told him, I'll be late. I'm a guy of time. Koreans and time are like this. So you cannot be late for anything when somebody tells. Then people tell you, let's meet at 8:47. And they will be on time. So I said, I'll come meet you at the island for dinner. But I'll be late because I have to take multiple trains to different places. And I'm broke. He said, no, take a taxi. A taxi is going to cost me $150 minimum to get to where I'm going. It's like, yeah, don't worry. Do you know this guy made the taxi guy wait for me? The restaurant we were in, he paid for all the tables around us, doesn't want interruptions. His secretary was there, who earns $10,000, by the way, secretary. And then another guy and he just wanted to show me the value of time and what you as a person is of value. And I learned something from him. He has 3 phones, 1 local phone, 1 international, and has a satellite phone. He can pick calls in the air if he's traveling, because for every time you call him for 1 minute, it's $1,000. So he told me, if you're an expert in cybersecurity, people need to know they have to pay you for your time. So I had to learn what value is. What do I bring to the table as Bright? How do I charge for the hours that I spend or minutes? And imagine I applied that. Today, there's a guy who pays me about £100 every hour that he speaks to me. If it's less than an hour, fine, still he'll pay. If it goes 1 hour, 1 minute, you'll pay £200. And that's something a lot of people don't understand about themselves. How do you value what you do? Living in Korea and in a very fast-paced country, they don't sleep, first of all, if you don't know that. And I had to adapt. I wasn't sleeping. I was working on a lot of jobs with Ushahidi at the time, about 20 countries, trying to do security assessment for them and doing a whole lot of things because I just couldn't live the life of working in factories and stuff. That's not me. I sold computer viruses. I work with agencies around the world where I was researching for them. It's all just some of the things that were making me pay small things. So I was trying to do that to build my CV, right? And mind you, I finished PhD at 28, which was pressure because now I'm overqualified on paper and underexperienced on the skill side of things, right? Because I only did 2 years in Cellular before I left. Applying for jobs. Where have I not applied? Every cybersecurity job in Korea, Lockheed Martin, as in I've applied everywhere. Google. At least I got an interview, the first part interview, and it was nice. To UK, US, South Africa, I applied to every single job in South Africa. But none of them was coming through. The rejection letters were coming over and over again. Let me tell you something, Adele. I cried. The days I just break down when I'm walking. And it was tough. That why am I so good at what I do? I feel I'm good at what I do, but I cannot get hired. And that was just, it was rejection after rejection. Look, Anderson Young, name them. Then one company, it was Deloitte, Netherlands. I'm like, oh, Netherlands, why would I go there? But you know what? Adventure, let me go try it out. Offered me a job. But the job offer, I had to do a test, which is a security assessment. I did it, but I forgot one little thing, in my reporting line. So I just, I failed, which was sad for me. So I had a lot of down moments where I was always breaking down, living in a foreign country. You think you have friends around, but it's not that easy. Everybody is on a hassle. Now I have to come back to Kenya. And I thought I was going to go back to Ghana. But again, I'm like, my parents are in Kenya, my family is here, my friends are here, let me come back to Kenya. And in between that, I came back to do Africa Hackon. Again, I was trying to do it every year. So I got a job with, Deloitte offered me a job in South Africa and good pay for a start. And I was going to take that. But then I wrote back to Cellular. I'm like, I don't think you guys have any security personnel right now. Because I was working in Cellular still, back and forth. And the time came, I came to hire new people. A whole team was gone. We had to do an emergency hire. I trained the people, then I left when I came for holiday. So they're like, you know what? It will not be as easy as it was the first time because things have changed. So I did a thorough interview, strategy building, how I'm going to do things. So I came back, and that's how I got a job at Cellular again. This is after almost 68 applications that I've done worldwide. Rejection after rejection. Some don't even reply to you. Man, it was tough that I'm overqualified and underexperienced on paper. It just wasn't sitting down with a lot of people. I wanted to go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I got a job offer from there, but they canceled it last minute for $16,000 US a month. I was like 28 years old, 16,000. That's a lot of cash. I'll be balling all over the place. But anyway, but I didn't get it because of discrimination again. But it was a blessing in disguise that I came back to Kenya. I let go of the Deloitte offer from South Africa, came to Kenya and changed a lot of things because there I got a chance to bring back Africa Hack On, right? And through that, the amount of lives that have changed. People are doing full-time cybersecurity. All the guys that I was teaching via WhatsApp, now I can meet them and do workshops, changed a lot of lives. When I see them right now driving cars, I'm like, wow. I can remember where you guys came from, which makes me proud of what I did. So I did work at Cellular for 1 year. And after a year, I think it was time for me to move on to something different. And at that time, by the way, when I came back, I got almost 15 job offers right after Cellular. Because I came back full swing, speaking at conferences. Every workshop I'm there, every conference I'm just being called. And I applied what that German fella taught me, which was, again, knowing my worth. I was called to present at a conference in South Africa. Because I met these guys in one of the hotels. They're trying to present something. I said, you guys are salespeople. You are not technical people, so you can't sell your product how it's supposed to be sold. Let me show you how it's done. And they said, how much will you charge? So I was going to tell them $200. These guys offered me $1,200 to fly, and then they'll fly me to South Africa and still pay for my hotel, accommodate, everything. I was like, why was I going to charge them $200? And I remember that guy told me, your value, your time. I started calculating every amount of time that I spent to learn all the skills and everything. So it became now overwhelming. I have 2-minute job offers. I don't know where to stick to. I don't know what I'm doing. Half the time I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. In this cybersecurity space, you Google everything. So I left Cellular. I got an offer from Internet Solutions at the time. The CEO, Richard Heckle, very good friend, still now, came and said, look, I want you to build a team, but feel like it's a startup with money. We'll give you all the cash you need to do. And I wrote a proposal. And he's like, lovely, this is what I want. Got approval and I moved to Internet Solutions, built a whole team from scratch. The first document I wrote that. What is cybersecurity? So what is cybersecurity services? And I said, people need this. We needed help. So we call it a managed security services, where I'm going to be helping them with getting the extra help they need from the company. And that became a whole team, and my mentees, most of them, my mentees, I hired them. And they came to help me to build that brand. And it just, what the good thing I like about the Internet Solutions at the time was they allow me to do what I want to do. They don't restrict me to, oh, it's 9 to 5, stay here. I want to travel to go speak somewhere, I go. And that's where I got to learn a lot about personal branding. A lot of people know what they do, they're really good at that, but they don't know how to bring it out. That personal branding got me so many opportunities to go speak to people at places that I never would have ever seen, And that's how I got to reach the 152 presentations. I've been in boardroom with billionaires and millionaires, and I'm just there like, how did I even get here? Like, who allowed me to walk in through this door to just speak to these people? And it's been a journey going on, But that doesn't take out the fact that I still have challenges when it comes to career-wise, life in general, because it's pressure. Everybody's looking up to you, saying, Bright, you're the guy who knows this thing. You're the guy we want to be. And I'm like, guys, you're trying to tell me to help you to become me, but I'm also struggling to become someone better than that I am, which is a constant struggle. This whole imposter syndrome thing is not fake, it's real. And I keep on asking, how can I change that kind of perception of me? That's where my Instagram comes in. My Instagram pages is just, I love to laugh a lot. I'm a jovial person. My life online and my life in person is exactly the same thing. I'm all over the place. I'll keep on posting memes and funny things. And my audience just kept on growing. Like, they're like, who is this Bright guy? People see you somewhere, they're like, hi, Bright. And I'm like, oh, damn it. So I can't even cheat publicly. My wife should be happy, yeah? Because you'll catch me, I can't hide. Even with the mask on, you can't hide. And and I took that quite seriously, that personal branding is really important, and what people see online has to resonate with what is offline as well. And it comes through, because some places you want to go do some work, you don't really have to reintroduce yourself. You don't have to sell yourself so much, right? And so personal branding is really important to me. And that's been the journey since I came back to Kenya.
Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, you can catch new Legally Clueless video episodes every Friday and new audio episodes every Monday.